Once again, greeting, Professor, and good afternoon, everyone. Here's the topic that I'm present today about agreement and mediation. And the table of content that I will cover in this presentation. Firstly, I will talk about the abstract that include the purpose of this presentation, the method that I used to gain the information for this presentation, and the result as a finding that I found. And another one is introduction that I will include background of the study to understand about the historical context and recent context as the background of study to the topic and the objective of the study, and followed by research question. And another one is finding the significance of this study and the limitation at the same time, as well as I include the operational definition that the most relevant to the topic. And another point is about the literature review that I will cover as a summary to the previous study, the different researcher that they established their perspective through different journal. And finding in discussion, I will talk about the type of the international mediation, followed by stage of the mediation process, and will be interpreted in the case study that followed by the above point. And at the end of this presentation will be the conclusion of the presentation. Here the abstract, the purpose of this presentation is aim to explore the role of mediation in resolving dispute, that covering on its historical development process and effectiveness in fostering successful agreement, particularly in international context. And the method of gaining the information of this person, use the qualitative content analysis that review a broad range of legal, political, and the case study literature review that include case study Camp David Accord, the Iran nuclear deal that examine how mediation facilitates dispute resolution and peace building. And finding or the result of this presentation reveal that mediation distinguishes from educations and arbitration that rely on voluntary negotiation guided by neutral as a third party, and influenced by a factor as a mediator who can be the legitimacy as a third party, and the different and the delay in the procedural stage of resolving conflict. And this involving as a third party, it can be state lead mediation, institutional lead mediation, or non-governmental mediation will be reflected in the case study of this presentation. As a introduction, as a background of study, mediation defined as a voluntary negotiation process that neutral third party as a join to facilitate to find the solution or outcome that discussed, but it does not impose binding decision. It contrasts sharply with the education and arbitration that UN as the role actor to solve the conflict, which end with a binding judgment or award. And this background of study, based on the research, also found that early modern Europe during around the periods of time 17th to 18th century, that mediation was an informal yet that increasingly recognized mean for resolving dispute between state and state, and where the different third party intermediary negotiate a settlement across political and criminal dispute. And the distinction between private and public sphere that was a blur, and local custom is also emerged as a state law. So third-party dispute settlement evolved gradually at that time in the Europe context. And mediator operated more as a conciliator that aiming for peaceful settlement without imposing binding decision. And another period of time of the historical context is about the early series of Samuel von Pofendorf and John Wolfgang Tactor and Emma de Wattel. That they are the series that talk about the agreement and mediation. Samuel maybe around the 1632 to 1694, this theory provide the distinguished mediator as a neutral conciliator who facilitate peace without binding authority. And he also provide the contrast mediator with arbitrator who are chosen by a party to impose decision based on the law. While the another series Johann it provide his series around 1638 to 1701. He focusing similarly as a distinction between mediation, but he include the public affair and arbitration. Arbitration maybe mostly include private affair. So he also stressed that mediator decision like judicial force and depend on party consent. It's similarly the voluntary party to involve this solution. And Emmer de Wattel appears around 1714 to 1767. He provide and highlighted mediator impartiality and flexibility, and mediator should aim to relax rigid demand to achieve peace, as well as recognize mediation as a common European practice to prevent war, differing from arbitration, which produce binding resolution. So this is a yearly series that they mention about the agreement and mediation, mostly in Europe. And another most important one is the Hague Convention that appear mostly the periods of time in 1899 to 1907 that codify mediation and arbitration as a peaceful dispute settlement method or mean, with mediation explicitly described as a advisory and non-binding. And it also include in the current period the Permanent Court of Arbitration or PCA, and later we also known by another role is about the International Court of Justice or ICJ. The differentiation of the role Hague Convention in 1899 and 1907 is a formula peaceful dispute settlement that recognize mediation as a key mechanism alongside arbitration and education. And Permanent Court of Arbitration or PCA established to provide a permanent institution to facilitate arbitration and mediation between state and state as the international level or international context. And International Court of Justice later development to adjudicate dispute that mediation remain distinct as the ICJ decision that are binding, whereas the mediation outcome are consensual and voluntary. this is the some historical context about the evolution and development of the agreement and arbitration context. And the significance of the study in this presentation will be provide a comprehensive understanding agreement and mediation that essential for policymaker, diplomat, legal professional, and peace building that seek to sustainable conflict solution to as a tool to gain the outcome as a win-win outcome. And the limitation of the study primarily rely on secondary source and qualitative analysis. For the operational definition to as a link and open the door for understanding some specific key term. Mediation in this context focusing on the voluntary process that joined by a neutral third party facilitate negotiation between disputing party without imposing a binding decision. Agreement is a mutually accepted solution or settlement that reached by a party during or after mediation. And adjudication is a formal legal process that involves a third party and usually a court or arbitrator who impose a binding decision on disputing party. State lead mediation that conducted or brokered by a powerful state actor or superpower country. And institutional mediation facilitated by international or regional organization that, as an example, the United Nations or African Union or the ASEAN as well. And non-governmental mediation conducted by private entity like NGO or track diplomacy group, and track diplomacy group will be present in the finding and discussion. As a problem of this research, it's found that there's also lack of consensus on the condition that make mediation successful in seeing sustainable peace and resolving dispute amicably. And it also addressed the gap of this finding and discussion in understanding how agreement are formed through mediation and the factor influencing its effectiveness. For the literature review, based on review the different source, I found that mediation differ markedly, at least 4 different that overlap trend of literature on mediation, but the covering in the scope of this presentation will be mainly focusing on only one. Firstly is about the national and international conflict that the level or study focusing on high stake political dispute, peace processes, and diplomacy between state and state as the global level. So this literature review will be the main source for the discussion and presentation. Another one is about small scale conflict that mainly previous research show that mediation in the community, family, workplace, or local dispute is also categorized in the mediation as well. And comparative work that examine cultural, regional, or systematic differences in mediation technique and effectiveness. And another one is do and done is a practical guidance and lesson learned relevant to mediator and policy maker. And in terms of the diplomatic context, do and done will be based on the protocol of the diplomat who must comply with their role that represent from the country as the independent state. is a series that talk about the agreement and mediation based on the Drake 2001. He argued that mediation can only be successful if the conflict is rape, and he analyzed the factor that make an international violent conflict rape for mediation. While Weber also writing about the large-scale international conflict in 2010 and modified 2011 that discuss there are three webs of scientific literature on mediation. Firstly, or the first web is about analysis of the 1970 and 1980 that focus on the idiosyncratic quality of mediation, mediator. In the yearly study in 1970 and 1980, that personal factors such as trust and the mediator, their credibility and personal skill as the core factor for successful mediation. And beyond this, mediator personality and individual attribute were considered essential prerequisite for the success. And the second wave of the Weber discussion, he argued that the contingency approach of the Berkowitz and other is dominant, meaning that knowing as the contingency approach that is important of the leverage as a prime predictor of mediation to be a success mediator. And he also analyzed that the condition or circumstances under mediation would be effective rather than focusing solely on mediator trend. And the last wave of the Weber discussion mainly focusing on closer examination of structural factor influencing mediation, and this wave is distinguished three cluster of factor that is critical to mediation to be a successful mediation, and it also highlight the procedural framework of this wave from the discussion of the Weber as well. It's about the ascertaining fact that providing information, facilitating communication, managing and screening information, and also including willingness of party to make concession, moderate demand, and propose settlement leading to substantive compromise. For this one is also similarly to the historical context as well, that starting from number one is about yearly development in third-party dispute resolving in European and American history that we can understand in the European Union mostly as a civilized state, that the series also mostly adopted and developed it from this regional country as well, and it also included informal mediation practice that evolved into structured diplomatic effort by the 18th century. And another one is the early scholar like Poffen, Duff, and Tector that I talk at the moment as well, that point about the conceptual distinction between mediation, arbitration, adjudication, that focusing on mediation and conciliatory and voluntary nature as the approach of the mediation and agreement. And another one is the modern era, especially in 20th century, that talk mostly about mediation became more institutionalized with international law and organization taking active role, and following by the development of international organizations such as the United Nations after the ending of the Second World War. The UN and regional body or regional organization increasingly become as a key mediator that enhancing legitimacy and neutrality. Legitimacy it approval the intervention from the P5 or permanent 5 permanent member state of the United Nations Security Council or UNSC. And from the mid to late 20th century onward, that talk mostly about the rise of formal mediation processes in major international conflict that confirmed by case study. So here the differentiation of the mediation in international relation or the international as a global level. Mediation operates through several forms depending on actor and context. And the differentiation in this finding and discussion, it found that there are 3 types of mediation. The first one is about the state lead mediation. State in this context, based on the global recognition, the key element or constitute of the independent state, they include 3 component or element. First, we identify by understanding clearly about their territorial integrity and their population, that include they have the language, culture, or other identity as a ethnic of the country, and followed by the legitimate governance that choose by the majorities of the support from their citizen in the election, as well as the sovereignty. Sovereignty is based on the United Nations Charter, mean that they have the equal sovereign or equal right to act and make the cooperation with another state, or those the bigger one or smaller one equally. So state lead mediation in the elaboration is a powerful state, because if a smaller state do the mediator, it will be can be no effective, that cannot influence or make any impact to the party in the dispute. So mostly powerful state or superpower act as a peace broker, leveraging political influence, and this discussion will be discussed in the UN mediation in the camp David Accord in 1978. Another one is institutional mediation, mainly focusing on the international or regional organization that provide structure, neutral platform for negotiation. As a key role that mostly we understand and study is the UN role, and as well NATO role in the discussion in the case of Dayton Agreement in 1995. And non-governmental mediation, elaborating and describing on the NGO and private actor, or track to diplomacy and net to facilitate dialogue outside official channel, and track 2 or track 1 diplomacy and net to and method will be present in another slide that will be compare the state mediation and track 1 and 2 diplomacy. And there are mostly the previous research, they provide stage and dynamic in the 3 key stage or passes that include. The first one is the pre-mediation. Pre-mediation mostly They talk, and in reality is about the fact finding and establishing party consent to the process, as well as settling the agenda and mediation framework, and followed by the critical for building trust and clarifying the scope of any claim between party and party. Following the another stage and process is about the active mediation. Active mediation mostly include the direct facilitation of bargaining and negotiation, and framing issue, and helping party draft a mutually acceptable proposal before the reaching outcome, and using interactive processes and strategic sequencing to manage complex dispute. This mostly happen in the active mediation, and as we notify and identify in international organizations like the UN, Africa Union, ASEAN, provide neutral formalized mediation platform that will be compare this theory to the case study that is an example of this presentation in Dayton Agreement. And post agreement is the implementation, compliance verification, and peace building after across the previous two stage is the pre-mediation, active mediation, and post agreement also establishment of more monitoring system and confidence building, as well as ensure sustainability and longevity for peace settlement. And as the in reality to reflect in this present stage as a post agreement, not NGO or non-government organization and track to diplomacy facilitate dialogue in informal or sensitive context that complementing official effort. Here is the comparison in the topic context and the previous research about the differentiation, mediation, and other comparison of the binding and non-binding as a voluntary disputing party, and binding that come from the result and outcome from the arbitration. As a key aspect of the binding decision between the mediation and adjudication or arbitration, mediation is not a binding decision that made the proposed solution. Party accept voluntary, mainly focusing on the consensus or the any acceptable outcome. While adjudication and arbitration, it is a binding decision that court or arbitrator issue binding judgment, and control over the outcome as a key aspect of the mediation and arbitration. Mediation mainly focusing on the party control process and outcome, while arbitration, court or arbitrator control outcome after jurisdiction set. And the key aspect of flexibility between mediation and arbitration. Mediation is a high, party can reject or modify proposal, while arbitration is the low, judgment must be accepted or legally challenged. Another key aspect is the legal basic of outcome between mediation and arbitration. Mediation settlement may deviate from a strict legal norm, while arbitration or adjudication judgment apply existing legal rule. And role of third party in mediation is the facilitator and communicator, while arbitration role of the third party, judge or decision maker. And voluntariness of mediation essential for legitimacy and process effectiveness, while arbitration mainly focusing on the jurisdiction based on the prior consent. And despite all of these differences, international court like the ICJ or International Court of Justice can have mediating effect by encouraging amicable settlement and reducing dispute to a central issue. Here's the comparison between track 1 and track 2 that I mentioned at the moment as well. Track 1 and track 2 in a hierarchy in the hierarchy comparison, we can note typically as the first the bottom of the stage is a track 2, mainly focusing on dialogue, training, advocacy, empowerment, development, social and economic activity, influential elite. And track 2 dialogue and training, influential elite. It also the middle one is compared to another track 1 then half the mediation and dialogue decision maker. And the key comparison between the different feature who is involved, level of control, and the result between track 1 and track 2 diplomacy. Track 1 diplomacy, who is involved in this context is about active government or leader and official state diplomat, while track 2 diplomacy mainly focusing on the private experts, citizens, and retiring officials. And the level of the control in track 1 diplomacy is a formal, rigid, and bound by a strict rule, while track 2 diplomacy is informal, flexible, and open. And the result between this track 1 and track 2 diplomacy, track 1 diplomacy is an official treaty, law, or sign pact. Pact meaning that the treaty or an agreement must be kept in a good and play in a good faith. And track 2 diplomacy share idea, trust, and groundwork of for future official talk. And here is a case study that reflects to the finding and discussion at the moment. Is case study 1 is about Camp David Accord in 1978 that show about the state-led mediation, and the picture that provided in this presentation including Anwar Sadat, Jimmy Carter, and Menachem Begin from the left. The historical context of this case study, Camp David Accord in 1987. It wrote it in the partition of Palestine in 1947 and the subsequent Arab-Israel war, following the 6-day war in 1967 that Israel occupied territory including Egypt, Sinai Peninsula, the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and the Golan Heights. And the U.S. President at the time, Jimmy Carter, was committed to a Middle East peace settlement based on the UN resolution number 2, 4, and 2. Which called for Israeli withdrawal from occupied territory and Arab recognition of Israel. And Egyptian President Anwar Sadat shot the return of the Sinai and peace, while Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin was willing to discuss measure with Sadat. And in this context, applying the stage or process of the mediation in the pre-mediation, we understand that despite initial diplomatic effort, direct negotiation between Sadat and Begin stalled. Rosalem Carter suggests that a summit at Camp David, and the U.S. President retreat in the Maryland for greater privacy, and the summit held from September 5 to 17 in 1978, and lasted 13 days and involved instant negotiation between Sadat Begin and Carter, along with their foreign policy advisor. And Carter, he employed a single document method, redrafting proposal numerous times to bright the significant differences between the leader in the summit. And the negotiation were fraught with tension, and at one point that Sadat threatened to leave. A breakthrough occurred when Begin agreed to allow the Israeli Knesset to decide the fate of Israeli settlement in Sinai. And another key outcome in active mediation based on the discussion in the literature review and the finding and discussion as an outcome lead to two framework agreement and the 1979 peace treaty. Israel withdraw from Sinai and normalize relation with Egypt. And the key challenges in this case study is about the widespread Arab opposition and unresolved Palestinian issue until for now. And the significance of this case study that the Camp David Accord were a landmark achievement, ending the state of war between Egypt and Israel and returning the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt. And they also established a framework for Palestine autonomy, which influenced later negotiation like the Oslo Accord that we discussed at the moment as well. Sadat and Begin also were awarded a Nobel Peace Nobel Prize for Peace, and maybe in this year as well, in 1978, for their role in this agreement. And another case study is about Dayton Agreement in 1995 that reflect the institution and state-led mediation. The context of this case study ended the Bosnian war characterized by ethnic conflict and heavy international intervention. In the photo that provided in this slide, from the left, President Slobodan Milosevic, President Alija Izetbegovic of the Bosnia Herzegovina at the center, and the President Franjo Tuchman of the Croatia signed the Dayton Agreement Peace Accord in 21st November 1995. And the pre-mediation of this case study, ceasefire effort supported by NATO airstrike and diplomatic pressure. And the active mediation in this case study, intensive negotiation chaired by U.S. envoy Richard Holbrooke at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, involved multiple state leaders. And the outcome of this agreement is a formal peace agreement signed in Paris, established Bosnia and Herzegovina political structure, and NATO deployed peacekeeper. And the significance of this case study, the Dayton Accord brought an end to a devastating conflict that claimed over 250,000 lives and displaced million people. And this also applying from the Annex 4 of the agreement continue to serve as the constitution of the Bosnia and Herzegovina that shaping its political division and governmental structure. And the last case study that it also talk mostly in our class as well is about Iran nuclear deal, JCPOA in 2015, that reflect the multilateral institution mediation, and CPOA that came from Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The context of this case study is a complex multilateral negotiation involving Iran and P5+1 that you can look at the tag below the photo that describe who involved in this mediation. That mainly major power country aim at curbing Iran nuclear program, and the pre-mediation in this case study that shift with Iran moderate government engaging in talk amid internal political faction and external pressure, and the middle of the stage in this mediation as an active mediation is a multi-year structure negotiation that balancing domestic Iranian faction and international demand. And the post-agreement of this mediation implementation involve sanction, relief, and monitoring internal resistance, President, U.S. withdrawal. This agreement in 2018 disrupted in the process that our classmate and professor provided discussion in the class as well, based on the periods of time and the different administration of the U.S. president. So my presentation here come to an end, but before ending this presentation, allow me to make a conclusion for the whole presentation. Mediation is a flexible, non-coercive alternative to adjudication and military force, exploring consent, dialogue, and mutual agreement. And the historical development is ongoing. A gradual institutionalization from the early Europe practice to codify international law as a key or cornerstone for the treaty of the agreement and in its implementation. And the success of mediation depend on mediator legitimacy, and legitimacy mostly we understand by the approval from the UNSC for all the P5 or permanent member state of the United Nations Security Council approval to intervene any dispute or any genocide for any country, and leverage procedural design and structural conditions such as conflict readiness as well. And mediation require multi-stage or passes in the periods of time to in their management, including trust building, facilitation of negotiation, and sustainable compliance mechanism. Different type of mediator that include the state lead mediation, institutional lead mediation, and non-governmental lead the mediation play a complementary role in diverse the differentiation of conflict. While all of this not a panakar, meaning that a single solution or medicine that cure all the disease or solve all the problem. That mediation have to preserve party autonomy and foster long-term peace building. And this is the a small research and finding and the discussion of my presentation. For the recommendation for further study is would comply empirical research across the cultures and type of conflict to refine mediation theories and enhance protocol in the age of the globalization as a new era for global development and revolution. So my presentation in this class for today presentation come to an end, and here is the reference and endnote that I take it from the report paper as a APA style that you can search it in a different journal in Google Scholar or the different source like the Sci-Hub or the different source that you can access. So thank you so much, Professor, and everyone. My presentation come to an end now.
Thank you very much, Venerable Titoch, for your excellent presentation, especially for your finding and discussion. Very interesting that you bring 3 case study here that we can understand more about how the mediation work in the real political framework. Especially you are talking about Camp David from Jimmy Carter mediation. You are talking about Dayton Agreement and Iran Deal 2015. Those are very important points in the mediation process in global politics. Thank you. I do like your presentation very much. You get the full
Thank you
mark.
so much,
Excellent.
Professor.
And of course, what program do you use for making slide?
This slide I use a PowerPoint. So,
You
but
use PowerPoint.
the cover slide I use Photoshop. But under the whole slide presentation I use a PowerPoint.
Oh, very good. A very hard work. You have spent much time for this slide preparation if you do it by PowerPoint. Okay, very good background. Open the floor for question and answer a little bit before we jump to an end for our today discussion. And of course, this topic is about mediation concept, and the actor in the mediation. So we can learn from those case study to explain in the Cambodian context. In for the first one, state mediator like Donald Trump, America mediation between Cambodia Thailand conflict. He mediated 2 times already, like mentioned by Marco Rubio, Foreign Secretary of the U.S. That for the first we reached an agreement already, and the second time for the ceasefire, Donald Trump mediated 2 times to finish the fighting between Cambodia and Thailand. So it's also a very crucial role that America play in this regional stability. And he always rise up about his success in stopping the war between Cambodia and Thailand. So by the way, your point, yes, please share your understanding about the topic from the presentation of Venerable Titoch. What you learned today, what is your impression, and question and answer. Your comment, please, one by one. Probably we can start from Sophia. Sophia today captures a very good point from the start of the class today. So we would like to hear from her again, and one by one, and we will finish class today. Thank you. Sophia, your turn. Are you here, Sophia? Yes.
ចាលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំនៅហ្នឹងចាក់ស្ដែងអរគុណតែគុណ slide ជាងច្រើនតែគុណបកស្រាយយ៉ាង detail ច្បាស់តែខ្ញុំចាប់និយាយទៅចំណុចដែលខ្ញុំចាប់បានខ្លះអញ្ចឹងតើតើជាមួយនឹង mediation អាចនិយាយបានថាវាគឺជាការសម្របសម្រួលមួយដោយមានភាគីទី3បានន័យថាមានភាគីទី3ចាប់ជាក្រិតជួយចូលមកជួយសម្របសម្រួលដើម្បីភាគីឲ្យភាគីចំនួនចរចាដែលស្ម័គ្រចិត្តហើយចំណុចសំខាន់គឺអ្នកសម្របសម្រួលនឹងគ្មានអំណាចខិតខំឬក៏កាត់ក្តីទេអញ្ចឹងបានន័យថាភាគីចំនួនខ្លួនឯងជាអ្នកសម្រេចចិត្តថាព្រមព្រៀងឬអត់អញ្ចឹងវាខុសពីតុលាការឬក៏ជាចៅក្រមដែលចេញសារក្រមដែលបង្ខំឲ្យភាគីទាំងសងខាងត្រូវតែស្ដាប់តាមហើយមួយទៀតឃើញតែគុណលើកឡើងពី track 1 track 2 ដូចជាការទូតផ្លូវការនិងមិនផ្លូវការចាក់ស្ដែង ការចរចាមានទាំងផ្លូវការដែលមានមេដឹកនាំមន្ត្រីទូតជួបគ្នាហើយអញ្ចឹងការចរចាចេញទៅជាសន្ធិសញ្ញាឬក៏កិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងច្បាប់ផ្សេងៗជាក់ស្ដែងបើក្រៅផ្លូវការមានដូចជាពេលខ្លះមានឃើញដូចជាអ្នកជំនាញខាងសង្គមស៊ីវិល NGO ជួបគ្នាគឺគ្រាន់តែដើម្បីកសាងទំនុកចិត្តពេលខ្លះដើម្បីត្រួសត្រាយផ្លូវឲ្យមេដឹកនាំរដ្ឋអាចចរចាគ្នាបានមួយទៀតខ្ញុំចាប់អារម្មណ៍ដូចជាconflict រីកណាស់បានន័យថាចំនួនដែលបានន័យថាពេលខ្លះយើងអត់ទាន់សម្របសម្រួលភ្លាមទេលុះត្រាតែចំនួនមួយហ្នឹងគិតថានឹងមានការចាប់គាំងឬក៏ខាតបង់រៀងៗខ្លួនបានយើងប្រើបានដឹងច្បាស់ថាការប្រើកម្លាំងបាយឬក៏កម្លាំងថាជ្រុះគ្នាឬក៏កម្លាំងបាយឡើងឈ្នះទៅយើងប្រើអេយ៉ាប័តមួយបន្ទន់អេយ៉ាប័តដើម្បីទទួលការចរចាងាមរកការចរចាវិញមួយទៀតខ្ញុំឃើញដូចជាមានការសម្របសម្រួលមាន3ដំណាក់កាលដូចជា pre-mediation, after mediation and post agreement ដូចជាមុនសម្របសម្រួលពេលខ្លះយើងត្រូវតែសុំការយល់ព្រមហើយកំណត់របៀបវិរៈផ្សេងៗនិងកសាងទំនុកចិត្តជាដំបូងបន្តមកទៀតដូចជាការសម្របសម្រួលផ្ទាល់ after mediation បានន័យថាយើងត្រូវតែភាគីទាំងសងខាងអង្គុយចរចាដោយផ្ទាល់ហើយសម្របសម្រួលនៅចំណុចខ្វែងគំនិតនិងតាក់តែងកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងផ្សេងៗមួយទៀតបន្ទាប់ពីយើងសម្របសម្រួលផ្ទាល់ហើយយើងមាន post agreement គឺក្រោយកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងយើងតាមដានការអនុវត្តផ្ទៀងផ្ទាត់ដើម្បីកុំឲ្យកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងនោះរលាយទៅវិញឃើញដៃគុណលើកដូចជា3ខេសដែរតាក់ទងជាមួយនឹងរដ្ឋអំណាចផ្សេងៗដូចជាមានអេស៊ីបអ៊ីស្រាអែលបើតាមខ្ញុំចាំបានហើយមានដូចជាអឺរ៉ង់និងមហាអំណាចទាំង6ដូចជារឿងទប់ស្កាត់នុយក្លេអ៊ែរជាថ្នូរដកនៅសេដ្ឋកិច្ចផ្សេងៗអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំយល់ថាចំពោះមេរៀនមួយហ្នឹងគឺវាល្អហើយដៃគុណគាត់បកស្រាយបានច្បាស់លើ case study ទៀតអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំឃើញថា mediation គឺជាវិធីដោះស្រាយវិវាទដោយសន្តិវិធីស្ម័គ្រចិត្តដែលគ្មានការបង្ខំពីតុលាការហើយពេលខ្លះដូចខ្ញុំលើកខាងដើមគឺបានន័យថានៅពេលដែលភាគីទាំងសងខាងយល់ថានៅពេលដែលជួបគ្នាទៅវាអត់មានចំណេញផលអីទេតែមានតែខាតបង់រៀងខ្លួនអញ្ចឹងឬយកការចរចាដែលឆ្លងកាត់ទី1មានការត្រៀបរៀបចំផ្លែនផ្សេងៗហើយនឹងណាត់ការជួបគ្នាដោយផ្ទាល់ចរចាដោយផ្ទាល់នឹងនៅតែបន្តតាមដានការអនុវត្តផ្សេងៗនេះជាអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំទទួលបានពី slide និង presentation របស់ដៃគុណអរគុណលោកគ្រូ
បាទបន្តទៀតជាវិសាលបាទវិសាលសិទ្ធវិរៈយុទ្ធនិងលោកវណ្ណីបាទ
បាទជំរាបសួរគ្រូនិងអរគុណលោកបង TECHO ដែលបាន give out a very informative and precise presentation អញ្ចឹងដោយសារតែបងសុភាគាត់បានសង្ខេបជារួមមកច្រើនហើយអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំគ្រាន់តែចាប់នៅចំណុចដែលខ្ញុំបានទទួលបានពីមេរៀនសំខាន់អញ្ចឹងthroughout the presentation ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំចាប់បានចំណុចសំខាន់គឺ the clear definition of mediation ដែលវាខុសគ្នាពី arbitration and adjudications អញ្ចឹងបើនិយាយចំគឺ mediation វាគឺជាការមានភាគីទី3ដែលជួយមកសម្របសម្រួលអញ្ចឹងនៅក្នុងហ្នឹងគឺគាត់អត់មាន power ក្នុងការ force ឲ្យ party មួយណាគាត់ធ្វើការសម្រេចចិត្តទេអញ្ចឹងគាត់គ្រាន់តែជួយសម្របសម្រួលដើម្បីកុំឲ្យមានបញ្ហាឈានទៅមុខឬក៏ជួយសម្រួលភាពតានតឹងនៃកិច្ចចរចាហ្នឹងហើយចំណុចមួយទៀតគឺខ្ញុំចាប់បានហ្នឹងគឺ the three type of international mediation ដែលក្នុងហ្នឹងមាន state lead institutional and non governmental mediations អញ្ចឹងអានោះវាជាចំណុចសំខាន់ដែរដើម្បីយើងដឹងច្បាស់ពី mediations and also the three stage of mediation អញ្ចឹងមុននឹងឈានទៅដល់ការធ្វើការសម្របសម្រួលឬក៏កិច្ចសម្របសម្រួលហ្នឹងវាសំខាន់ជាងគេគឺ pre-mediation process ដើម្បីយើងមានការសម្រេចចិត្ត consent ពីភាគីទាំងពីរហើយក៏ត្រូវការ be trust ដើម្បីឲ្យភាគីទាំងពីរទុកចិត្តហើយនឹង ទីតាំងស្របស្របនិង agenda កំណត់របៀបវិរៈឲ្យបានស្របស្របទើបយើងអាចឈានទៅដល់ការសម្របសម្រួលហ្មងអញ្ចឹងនៅពេលដែលចប់ការសម្របសម្រួលក៏យើងត្រូវតែមាន post agreement ដែលក្នុងនោះយើងត្រូវmonitor យើងត្រូវមើលថាភាគីទាំងពីរហ្នឹងគាត់បន្ទាប់ពីការសម្រេចចិត្តនឹងហើយទូរៀងការសម្របសម្រួលហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងគាត់មាន follow ទៅតាមអ្វីដែលគាត់បានចរចាឬក៏លើកឡើងហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងចំណុចមួយទៀតគឺសំខាន់ជាងគេគឺ trust and credibility អញ្ចឹងតើតែ mediator គាត់មាន trust គាត់ទទួលបានការទុកចិត្តហើយមួយគាត់មាន credible ដែរទើបគាត់អាចឈានទៅដល់ភាគរយជោគជ័យច្រើនអញ្ចឹងអាហ្នឹងជាអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំទទួលបានពី presentation នេះអញ្ចឹងអរគុណ
បាទខ្ញុំទៅខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណលោកបងទីធុចមែនតើដែល presentation របស់គាត់ខ្ញុំឃើញថាពិតជាបានក្បោះក្បាយនិងបកស្រាយបានល្អហើយអរគុណទៅដល់សភាហើយក៏ដូចជាវិសាលដែលគាត់បានលើកឡើងហើយខ្ញុំក៏អត់ពីខុសពីពួកគាត់ដែរអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំចាប់អារម្មណ៍សំខាន់ក្នុងការធ្វើ presentation របស់លោកបងទីធុចខ្ញុំចាប់អារម្មណ៍កន្លែងmediation stake ដែលយើងមាន3ទី1 pre-mediation ដែលយើងត្រូវតែ set clear agenda before the negotiation process ហ្នឹងហើយជាមួយនឹងកំឡុងពេល mediation ដែលយើងធ្វើការ frame issue ឲ្យវាសមស្របទៅ agenda របស់យើងហើយនឹង post agreement ដែល post mediation ហ្នឹងដែលយើងថាតើយើងអនុវត្តបានកម្រិតណាហើយអ្វីដែលចាប់អារម្មណ៍ហើយខ្ញុំបានរៀនសូត្រមែនតើនោះខ្ញុំគិតថាកន្លែង track 1 and track 2 diplomacy ហើយខ្ញុំគិតថា track 1 track 2 diplomacy ហ្នឹងវាពិតជាសំខាន់មែនតើនៅក្នុងកិច្ចដំណើរការទូតជាប្រចាំថ្ងៃហើយមិនត្រឹមតែមានការទំនាក់ទំនងរវាងរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលប៉ុណ្ណោះទេនៅក្នុង track 1 ហើយ track 2 ដែលយើងមិនមែនជា non governmental actor ហ្នឹងក៏វាដើរតួយ៉ាងសំខាន់នៅក្នុងវិស័យការទូតដូចគ្នាដែរឬក៏ដំណោះស្រាយផងដែរអរគុណច្រើនលោកគ្រូនិងលោកបងធីធុច
បាទជំរាបសួរលោកគ្រូនិងក្រុមមិត្តរួមថ្នាក់សម្រាប់អ្វីដែលខ្ញុំបានរៀនពី slide របស់លោកបងទីធុចខ្ញុំមិនអាចយល់ទាំងអស់ទេតែអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំអាចយល់បានគឺតាមសម្ដីរបស់សភាហើយវិសាលហើយនឹងវិរៈយុទ្ធគាត់បានលើកឡើងមកហើយខ្ញុំក៏ចង់ទៅសង្ខេបចំណុចរួមចង់ថាការចរចាវិទ្យាដើរតួយ៉ាងសំខាន់សម្រាប់ចំនួនពីប្រទេសដូចជាគាត់លើកឧទាហរណ៍មានដូចជាប្រទេសដូចជាមានការធ្វើសម្រាប់នៅការចរចានៅ Camp David Dayton Agreement ហើយនឹង Iran Nuclear Deal ហ្នឹងគឺពិតជាសំខាន់ណាស់សម្រាប់ភាគីទី3ដើរតួជាអ្នក mediation សម្រាប់សម្រួលនៅបញ្ហាសង្គ្រាមមួយប្រទេសទាំងពីរអញ្ចឹងមានន័យថាសម្រាប់ការសម្របសម្រួលប្រទេសក្នុងចំនួនអ្នកដើរតួជាអ្នកសម្របសម្រួលពិតជាដើរតួយ៉ាងសំខាន់ដែលយើងគោរពតាមគោលការណ៍ទាំង3របស់ការសម្របសម្រួលហើយបើសិនជាគ្មានការសម្របសម្រួលទេប្រទេសទាំងពីរហ្នឹងប្រកាសជាមានបញ្ហារវាងគ្នានឹងគ្នាហើយវាឈានទៅដល់នឹងចំនួនអាចចំនួនក្នុងតំបន់អាចចំនួនទុចមួយអាចថាវាជាចំនួននៅក្នុងតំបន់ទាំងមូលបាទអញ្ចឹងអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំបានរៀនគឺការចរចាការសម្របសម្រួលពិតជាសំខាន់ដែលដើរតួដោយសំណាក់ប្រទេសទី3ដែលជាប្រទេសមហាអំណាចក្នុងការចូលរួមក្នុងការសម្របសម្រួលនៅសង្គ្រាមនេះខ្ញុំយល់ថាវាពិតជាល្អបាទសូមអរគុណខ្ញុំយល់ប៉ុណ្ណឹង
អូខេអរគុណច្រើនលោកវណ្ណីបាទលោកវណ្ណីហើយផ្ដល់ភារកិច្ចទៅដល់សំណួរហើយបច្ចុប្បន្នមានបាទសង្កេតការជាចុងក្រោយពីសារៈសំខាន់នៅក្នុងការសម្របសម្រួលហ្នឹងរវាងទំនាក់ទំនងកម្ពុជាថៃបាទដោយដែលប្រធានាធិបតីស៊ីជីនពីងរដ្ឋប្រការបរទេសចិនព្យាយាមសម្របសម្រួលក្រោយមកទៀតដើម្បីបាទទប់ស្កាត់នៅការកាត់ឡើងវិញនៃសង្គ្រាមការប្រយុទ្ធគ្នាក្នុងប្រទេសទាំងពីរផងដែរអញ្ចឹងចាំមើលតើមានអ្វីបន្តទៀតបាទក្នុងកាលានុវត្តភាពកម្ពុជាថៃនៅពេលខាងមុខលោកវណ្ណីចេញ
បាទលោក ជាដំបូងសូមអរគុណដល់លោកបាទអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំចាប់អារម្មណ៍គឺក្នុងការសម្របសម្រួលមករដ្ឋអំណាចត្រាគោលនយោបាយដើម្បីជំរុញទីទីបានគឺរបស់សារ៉ុងទៅតាមជួបថៃគឺសាមអីថាអំណាចការជំរុញការបស្តិភាពគឺក៏ជំរុញឲ្យទីទីបៃតងជាតិក្នុងស្រុកនៅបច្ចុប្បន្នមួយបាទការសម្របសម្រួលតាមស្ថាប័នអង្គការពុទ្ធគីដូចជាអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិឬក៏សិទ្ធិអឺរ៉ុបដល់ក្នុងវេទិកាជាក្រិតមានលក្ខណៈសម្បត្តិច្បាស់លាស់បាទក៏ជាល្អដែរបាទហើយទៀតតែក្នុងការសម្របសម្រួលរបស់ស្ថាប័នដូចជាការពុទ្ធជាជននិងការតែជួហ្នឹងក៏បច្ចុប្បន្នការស្ងាត់សម្រាប់កិច្ចពិភាក្សាដែលឆ្លងនៅដំណើរការចរចាហ្នឹងគឺឆ្លងកាត់ដោយដំណើរការខាងដែលបងចាស់គឺបានជាមួយគឺការអសត់ចិត្តនិងតាមខាងសម្រាប់ការចរចាពួកចំសិទ្ធិព្រៀងអនុវត្តផងទាំងតាមណាក្រុមហ៊ុនច្រើនសិទ្ធិឡើយចុងក្រោយជោគជ័យនៃការសម្របសម្រួលអាស្រ័យលើប្រទេសជំនួយវិទ្យាបាទប្រសិទ្ធភាពរបស់អ្នកវិទ្យាដែលខ្ញុំចង់យកសម្រាប់ស្ថាប័នដូចជា ICJ ក៏អាចបង្កើតសម្រាប់សម្រួលដែលជួយឲ្យរដ្ឋនឹងមានជារត់មកស្លាយដល់ទីដែរនេះអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំបានស្ដាប់ចា៎សូមអរគុណ
ប្រគុណព្រះអង្គបាទអញ្ចឹងជាសរុបសេចក្តីមកដោយអ្នកបានធ្វើបទបង្ហាញពីមុនអញ្ចឹងហើយគ្នាយើងបានពិភាក្សាកន្លងមកហើយសារៈសំខាន់នៃការទូតនៅតែជាស្នូលនៃការស្វែងរកការចរចាដើម្បីស្វែងរកដំណោះស្រាយចុងក្រោយគឺសន្តិភាពនិងកិច្ចសហប្រតិបត្តិការរវាងរដ្ឋនិងរដ្ឋដោយដែលឆ្លុះបញ្ចាំងនៅក្នុងសង្គ្រាមលោកលើកទី2ដែលបានបញ្ចប់ប្រទេសមហាអំណាចជាប្រទេសដែលផ្ដោតទៅលើអនុត្តរភាពការក្តោបក្តាប់ទឹកដីការពង្រីកទឹកដីនិងភាពជាមហាអំណាចជាម្ចាស់អាណានិគមបានឆ្លុះទាស់តែងគ្នាប្រយុទ្ធកាប់សម្លាប់គ្នាឥតលហែបាទទីក្រុងធំនៅអឺរ៉ុបត្រូវបានកំទេចដោយសារការភ្ញាក់រលឹកនោះប្រទេសទាំងអស់នោះបានព្រមព្រៀងគ្នាបង្កើតសម្ដាប់ក្នុងពិភពលោកថ្មីមួយបង្កើតនៅអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិបាទដើម្បីរក្សានៅសម្ដាប់ក្នុងពិភពលោកផ្ដោតទៅលើច្បាប់អន្តរជាតិគោរពធម្មនុញ្ញនៃអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិបានន័យថាគឺការគោរពគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកនៅក្នុងឆាកអន្តរជាតិមិនថាប្រទេសតូចមិនថាប្រទេសធំបាទសិតតែមានតម្លៃគុណនៃតម្លៃស្នូលគឺមានសិទ្ធិស្មើគ្នានៅក្នុងការពារបូរណភាពទឹកដីក្នុងការចូលរួមរក្សាសន្តិភាពរបស់ពិភពលោករួមគ្នាដូច្នេះហើយវេទិកាការទូតនៅតែមានសារៈសំខាន់ជាងការប្រឈមដែលបំផ្លិចបំផ្លាញដែលគ្មានអ្នកឈ្នះចឹងការស្វែងរកដំណោះស្រាយការទូតឲ្យបានជាទេពបរមាការរក្សាការធ្មត់ការប្រើប្រាស់គោលការណ៍នៃច្បាប់អន្តរជាតិនៅតែមិនអាចខ្វះបានប៉ុន្តែការទូតជាមួយនឹងភាពខ្លាំង diplomacy with strength like mentioned by the US អញ្ចឹងគឺការទូតជាមួយនឹងភាពខ្លាំងវាធ្វើឲ្យមាននៅលទ្ធផលប៉ុន្តែប្រសិនការទូតជាមួយនឹងភាពខ្សោយនោះយើងមិនទទួលបានការជិះជាន់និងការគៀបសង្កត់ដែលប្រទេសតូចទាំងអស់ត្រូវយកបទពិសោធន៍តាមប្រទេសកូរ៉េខាងត្បូងឬក៏សិង្ហបុរីឬក៏អ៊ីស្រាអែលជាដើមនៅពេលដែលការទូតដំណើរការប៉ុន្តែភាពខ្លាំងត្រូវតែមានវត្តមាននៅក្នុងការចរចាភាពខ្លាំងសម្ដៅទៅលើឯកភាពជាតិភាពខ្លាំងទៅលើនីតិរដ្ឋភាពខ្លាំងទៅលើភាពរឹងមាំនៃសេដ្ឋកិច្ចភាពខ្លាំងនៅលើវិស័យការពារជាតិសន្តិសុខជាតិនោះហើយជាស្នូលដែលសន្តិភាពអាចត្រូវបានរក្សាបានយូរអង្វែងកិច្ចសហប្រតិបត្តិការត្រូវបានភាគីនៃចំនួនគ្រប់បាទដោយសារការខ្លាចរឯងនៃការខូចខាតឬក៏ការប៉ះពាល់ទៅវិញទៅមកដែលយើងត្រូវដឹងដូចនៅក្នុងទំនាក់ទំនងនៅក្នុងសង្គមបាទប្រជាពលរដ្ឋទុនខ្សោយត្រូវបានគេរំលោភពៀនបាទលំនៅឋានផ្ទះសម្បែងដីធ្លីអីជាដើមអញ្ចឹងពីសំណាក់អ្នកមានអំណាចប៉ុន្តែប្រសិនបើអ្នកមានអំណាចនិងមានអំណាចដូចគ្នាកម្រនឹងប៉ះគ្នាណាពីព្រោះថាភាគីទាំងពីរ មិនហ៊ានប្រថុយនឹងការខាត់បងឬក៏ប៉ះទង្គិចណាមួយនឹងហៅថាមានសម្ព័ន្ធមិត្តគេហៅមានខ្នងបង្អែករៀងខ្លួនហើយមានអំណាចរៀងខ្លួនจึงធ្វើឲ្យមានការស្រោះស្រួលគ្នាហើយបញ្ជាការប្រជុំមកដាក់គ្នាអាហ្នឹងក៏នៅក្នុងតថភាពនៃសន្តិភាពពិភពលោកក៏ដូចគ្នាដែរប្រសិនបើប្រទេសខ្លាំងនឹងខ្លាំងដូចជាសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកនិងចិនសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកនិងរុស្ស៊ីគឺมันប្រឈមនឹងដោយផ្ទាល់มันវាយគ្នាដោយផ្ទាល់ទេគឺប្រទេសជាសម្ព័ន្ធមិត្តបាទជាអ្នកវាយអញ្ចឹងគេយល់អំពីបរិបទថាតវាយគ្នាបាទមានហានិភ័យគ្រោះថ្នាក់ធំអញ្ចឹងគេបញ្ជាឬក៏គេលេងសង្គ្រាម proxy war សង្គ្រាមខ្ចីដៃនៅប្រទេសណាមួយដើម្បីតេស្តកម្លាំងដូចក្នុងស្ថានភាពការតេស្តកម្លាំងរវាង NATO ជាមួយនឹងរុស្ស៊ីនៅក្នុងសង្គ្រាមខ្ចីដៃរបស់អ៊ុយក្រែនអញ្ចឹងបាទអ្នកដែលខ្ទេចខ្ទីអស់បាត់ប្រយោជន៍ទាំងអស់គឺអ៊ុយក្រែនបាទដោយសារភាគីអ៊ុយក្រែននឹងបែងចែកជាពីរមួយខាងគាំទ្ររុស្ស៊ីមួយខាងគាំទ្រអឺរ៉ុបខាងលិចដោយសារតែទំនោរក្នុងតំបន់ភូមិសាស្ត្រនៃការរស់នៅរបស់ខ្លួនបាទភាគខាងលិចគឺអត់និយាយរុស្ស៊ីទេគឺនិយាយភាសាអ៊ុយក្រែនព្យាយាមផ្ដាច់ទំនាក់ទំនងមួយរុស្ស៊ីខ្លាចអនាគតអ៊ុយក្រែនខ្លាចជាប្រទេសរុស្ស៊ីដោយសារតែវប្បធម៌រុស្ស៊ីភាសារុស្ស៊ីបានចាក់ឫសយ៉ាងជ្រៅនៅក្នុងប្រទេសអ៊ុយក្រែនតែជាដែនដីជាសម្ព័ន្ធមិត្តជាសម្ព័ន្ធភាពនៅសហភាពសូវៀតចំណែកភាគីដែលមានទំនោររស់នៅមានគ្រួសារជាមួយរុស្ស៊ីនោះប្រហែលជា10លានគ្រួសារហ្នឹង10លានអ្នកហ្នឹងគឺនិយាយភាសារុស្ស៊ីបាទអញ្ចឹងមានទំនោរស្មានចិត្តជាមួយរុស្ស៊ីអញ្ចឹងធ្វើឲ្យអ៊ុយក្រែនបែងចែកជាអ៊ុយក្រែនខាងលិចនិងអ៊ុយក្រែនខាងកើតហើយដែលមានចំនួនយ៉ាងរ៉ាំរ៉ៃនៅក្នុងផ្ទៃក្នុងរបស់ប្រទេសខ្លួនអំពីការរេទៅខាងរុស្ស៊ីនិងរេទៅលោកខាងលិចដែលបាត់ឯកភាពជាតិធ្វើឲ្យអ៊ុយក្រែនធ្លាក់ចូលទៅក្នុងសង្គ្រាមខ្ចីដៃ